I bought Lyra. She's not very happy right now, from Countryways Gundogs, and she's been a roaring success. She's 11 months old now, and I'm chuffed with her. And I've come back today to find out what you need to look for in choosing a puppy. We first met almost a year ago now, when I bought my gorgeous Labrador puppy off you, who's doing well, even though I say so myself.
Well, we'll have a look later and see.
What do we look for as total novices when we're looking at Labrador puppies?
From the beginning, what you're looking at is temperament. I start with everything with temperament. Not everybody is in a shooting field. You know, if they're lucky, they shoot probably as much as yourself. But most people actually shoot a little bit. So the rest of the time, it's got to be their best friend. So we like to provide, if we can, something with the right temperament, something with that trainability, and something that's going to be an athlete. Is to make your life a lot easier. People go on about, a Labrador is just a Labrador. No, it's not actually. We're looking at generations and generations of dogs that are put together to provide the breeding and the background to help you.
People say, oh, got great pedigree, but most people don't really know what that means, to be honest with you, really?
Not at all, really. The biggest problem that we have with everybody, we've all got a pedigree. Myself has got one, just about. I don't know how good it is. Well, not as good as yours anyway. Not as good as yours. But obviously we all got a pedigree. But the point is when you look at that 5 generation, it's actually looking deep down into it properly. Now, you're not meant to understand it, but if you look at it as a broad thing, you'll see little red bits on it. And they will either be champions or field trials winners or field trials award winners. That means that they have shown themselves in the shooting field. Field trial wise is only putting rough shooting and shooting into a discipline that we can judge those situations. Mm-hmm. So it means that your dog in its background has been tested for those things. Right? Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at a pedigree, hopefully the dog is out of a field trials champion or certainly out of a winner, which yours is. Yes, yours, luckily for you, is really nice. But actually it's all to do with bitch lines. Everybody goes to the nearest best dog that they've seen or the champion of the moment and whatever. But that's just the dog. The dog is there to complement the bitch.
Is that not the best way to be? Going straight for the best possible champion pedigree you can find?
Well, it is, but you must look at the bitch line. It's the bitches that produce the puppies, not the dog. Okay, we used to say that actually the dog just complements it.
Going back to the basics of it, I suppose, when you're looking at a litter of puppies on the floor, crawling around as 8-week-olds, you're about to pick it up. What are you looking for? Are you looking for the ones that are slightly more reserved, that sit at the back of the room, or the ones that come bounding up to the bars?
Well, really, that's where we come into it, really, or the breeder, whoever the breeder of the particular litter is, he should know his line and look at it. If you've looked, I've fortunately looked at a lot of puppies over the years, and then what we're trying to do is gear it to what you're about to do. If it's your first dog, it's no good me giving you a Ferrari. You don't even know how to drive. No. So there's a great chance you're going to crash it. And then if you're on your 5th dog, you already know a little bit. I can give you a dog with a little bit more power and a little bit more drive, a little bit more taxing. So what we're going to do is we look at certain ones within that litter, and you can pick them out. At 8 weeks old, you can pick them out if you've seen a few. Yeah. And then you can start to see where they fit, right? We ourselves in our breeding, we like softer type of dogs. Over the years, I would have a softer type of dog that you actually lift the confidence in the dog, and then it just wants to look to you for praise, really. Yeah. So it learns quicker and it's not out to battle you. The problem we don't want is to give you a dog that you're going to tackle it all the time. Yeah. It's going to be very, very. Hopefully, the dog that we gave you was quite simple.
She was very straightforward. I mean, to be honest, she was basically born half trained to all intents and purposes. Can we go have a look at one of them? Because everyone loves a puppy.
That's the problem. When people are seeing, they just see a sweet little puppy, and we buy a puppy because a Labrador puppy is a Labrador puppy. I'm now going to show you what I see as a very, very nice puppy, and we'll see where it goes.
Awesome, let's do it.
Thank you.
Breeding is one part of the decision-making process. Conformation is another.
Right, so here we are, Ollie. We've chose this puppy. Now, there's a reason for choosing this type of puppy for us anyway. And if you look at the puppy itself, we've got everything I want. Even though this wouldn't be a show dog, I still want to look at it. It's like having a good girlfriend. You really want a pretty one, right? So everything is to do with conformation. The first thing to understand when you pick a puppy up, put the puppy on top of your arm like a baby's. If you carry it like that, when it freezes, and the other thing is it supports its belly. So it's the right way to hold it, rather than people pick it up with the neck and play around with it, but you really should hold it that way. Now, if we look at the conformation on this dog, it's quite long in the back, which we want for that galloping gait, that stride we like for a bit of speed on it. And then if you look at the back, its tail should go down, so we have that nice tail that goes down, a bit of length on it, a waggy tail if we can, which is rather nice. Don't really want a tail that's going up in the air. When it's up in the air, it's a bit like a beagle, so it's there. And then when we look at the front end, we've got nice straight legs. I mean, this is only a 6-week-old puppy, so the conformation is not exact just yet. But we've got nice straight legs, a nice bold head with a lovely dark nose, because that just shows up really, really nice. Nice set ears, a little tiny knowledge bump. It's got a little pimple on the top of its head. That will split in the end and strengthen out. And we got dark eyes, which I like dark eyes. We call it kind eyes. We used to call it kind eyes in hounds, and it's called kind eyes. And if you see a Labrador that you don't like, I guarantee it'll have light eyes. And colour-wise, when you actually look at colour, here we'll look at a Labrador, and you say, what colour would this dog end up? They end up the colour of their ears. So if you're looking at red ones, when somebody says it's going to be a fox red Labrador, if its ears are light coloured, that's the colour it's going to end up.
I mean, a lot of people with Labradors, they complain about, you know, Labradors have a big head, big clunky head. Is that
no, I mean, obviously it's beauty, and most people are all to do with what they've known in the past. Yeah. So they say, you know, the best dog I ever had a big head, so I have a big head.
Yeah.
But actually it's about conformation. It's no good just having a big head,
yeah.
Right? If you've got that body, and the body's long and it's got a strong head, not a problem, right? Same as having one that's just all thin with a little tiny pin head. You really want all the conformation.
One thing that worries Labrador owners is dysplasia and hip scoring.
Most of us think of buying a Kennel Club registered puppy, and we always want to buy a Kennel Club registered puppy, and they have a certain criteria you look at from an amateur's point of view, and you look through and you look at things like hips, elbows, DNA tests in that. You should buy a puppy, waggy tail puppy. You should buy a puppy that has got a good hip score. That is a low hip score. I think the mean average at the present moment is about 12 with a Labrador. They go to a board that tests them, how they fit within the socket. All right, and what will happen is if you've got a dog that's a very high hip score, so it's a hip score of say 30 on one side, then the top is flat and there's a large gap, which means he's going to get arthritis in it. So later on in life, you know, before it was invented or everybody went into scoring, you get a dog when it was 8 years old, it started to stagger about because it's got arthritis in its hip, so it's a structural problem. Now, a lot of dogs can have a high hip score and never ever get a problem. But what we're trying to do is keep the breeding so that we have a low hip score, so we're breeding a dog with not too many genetic faults in it. But don't get totally hung up on it. It has to combine with having a well-bred dog. It's no good having a dog that's got all the MOTs and got all the tests, but actually it can't do the job and you cannot train it.
Thank you so much for today, David. For more on Countryways Gundogs, go to countrywaysgundogs.com.